Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer, so now let's talk silver. This video is very important on many different levels, and the most interesting thing about this article is it's not going off of speculation. They go off of facts. They use a ratio that actually exists in the silver market. So then you would argue, well, Silver Slayer, if that's true, then why isn't silver $5,000? Well, there's many reasons why, and the biggest is price suppression, manipulation, which we know does exist, and people are getting sent to prison for it. Banks are paying nearly $1 billion fines. And it even says right here, if the price of silver were based directly on the real physical silver market, silver's price should be at $5,000 an ounce. He says, I'm not saying the price of silver will reach $5,000 an ounce. I'm just saying that the actual physical silver spot price is not only extremely undervalued, but that it is an illusion compared to the real value of an ounce of physical silver, since it is totally disconnected from reality. And that's the biggest part about this whole entire conversation that I want to highlight. It's not even about $5,000. It's just the fact that the COMEX is a facade. I like how he mentions it is an illusion compared to the real value of an ounce. Now, they use a ratio to come up with the actual price of $5,000. That's not just a guess. That's not just a number thrown out of picked out of a hat, thrown in thin air. That is a real price, and it's the 250 to 1 ratio. And that is because every physical ounce of silver you hold in your hand, 250 other people theoretically own that same ounce on the COMEX, but the COMEX is portraying this as every ounce of silver that someone owns on the COMEX, there is an equal 1-to-1 ratio, but it's not. It's a 250 to 1 ratio. And if we lived in a perfect world without this COMEX facade, without all the manipulation and the corruption, this is what silver's price would be, but we don't live in a perfect world and probably never will. Now, there is a good chance that the COMEX will get exposed, but I don't know if it would be on this level of, on this scale of $5,000. Regardless, though, like I said, it's not about the price of $5,000. It's the whole fact of how this truly shows that silver is extremely undervalued, and that if or when its natural price starts to shine, it could be a lot higher. It will be a lot higher than just a measly $22 an ounce. And before we jump into this very interesting article, I did want to make a huge announcement real quick. I'm doing a massive silver giveaway, and the entry video is live. You can go enter for a chance to win an entire tube of sealed eagles shipped straight to your front doorstep by just clicking subscribe and going over to the entry video, links in the description or the pinned comment, and typing in a hashtag. I just gotta say, the amount of people that said I got them into silver stacking is so humbling. I mean, there's 2,621 comments of people just mentioning how much I've influenced them into the world of silver stacking, and it's I just cannot thank you all enough. And that is why I do massive giveaways like this, and will continue to, is because no matter how much silver or gold I give away, it cannot even come close to the amount of gratitude I have for each and every one of you, and it is just so humbling. So thank you every single person that has commented, that has entered, and like always, may the luckiest stackers win. And they start this article off with a very powerful and impactful and relevant point. I think the biggest thing about this article is they make better points and arguments than someone who was saying that silver will stay $20 for the next decade. Listen to this. A price of $5,000 may seem totally crazy, but who can pretend knowing exactly how an ounce of silver is worth after decades of manipulation and turning real investors' demand from the physical market to the paper one, and years of exponential monetary printing by all the planet's central banks? That's such a good point. How are we comparing silver's price to a dollar that is infinitely inflating or deflating and losing its purchasing power to an extent of hyperinflation and a collapsing monetary system. I mean, you can't. So how can you determine how much an ounce of silver is actually worth? And not only just what I explained about the deflating dollar, but then also tie in all the manipulation and the corruption. I mean, you can't. The physical versus paper market difference. And now they go into this 250 to 1 ratio. The actual spot price for silver has no real value and is not legitimate when we seriously compare the real physical silver market to the paper market and its myriad of financial derivatives. So according to Bloomberg, which has always been a reliable source with their published data, the size of the global annual silver market is equal to $5 trillion. So according to a recent interview with David Morgan, shout out to David Morgan, a friend of mine. I've done an interview with him on my channel. I'm actually going to try to set up another one soon. Regardless, the annual physical silver production is roughly 1 billion ounces. And yes, it is. Actually a little less than that. It's usually 850 million. With silver trading around $20 currently, this represents a $20 billion market for physical silver. So the size of the physical silver market is of $20 billion. So the difference between 5 trillion and the 20 billion number is that Bloomberg's $5 trillion number represents the entirety of the paper silver market, including all paper financial products, certificates, options, ETFs, etc., derived from the real physical market that allows investors to be exposed to silver. So that leaves us to the 250 to 1 leverage. The above discrepancy makes for a 250 to 1 ratio between the paper market and the physical market, meaning that for every ounce of physical silver, there are 250 ounces of paper silver circulating in several financial products. In other words, only one contract or certificate issued out of 250 could be convertible into physical silver. That is, the silver market being leveraged 250 to 1. Think about that. Every ounce of silver you hold in your bare hand, 250 other people theoretically own that same ounce. They're portraying it as a 1-to-1 ratio. So if everyone on the COMEX tried to turn in their silver to physical, it would be exposed. And the LBMA, COMEX, and LME vaults are near empty. We're getting closer to this explosion. The multiplication of these financial products on silver has skirted investors' demand from real physical market, thus creating a virtual silver supply without putting any pressure on the physical silver market. And this is a roundabout way of keeping the price low. And just like Andy Schectman says, price is the greatest tool of misdirection. If now, as the regulation agencies are claiming, the goal is to create a new fixing for silver that would better reflect the physical market, notably from pressure coming from countries like China wishing to have their say in the fixing of precious metals prices. The leverage between paper silver and physical silver is at risk of radically evolving. And there you go, China, Russia, India, countries from the BRICS nations. So let's hypothesize what the silver price would be directly based on the physical silver market. Today, the actual size of the silver market, according to Bloomberg, is 5 trillion. 5 trillion divided by 20 billion, which is the physical market's 250. 250 times 20, which is silver spot price, is $5,000 an ounce. So there you go. This is actual math going off of actual numbers, and that is an actual price. Anyone else that tries to say any other price of silver is going off of theoretical numbers. This is the only price of silver that goes off of actual data, and that is the highest price of silver out of any type of forecast you see. And that's the most interesting part, is that this article brings a better and more realistic argument than anything else. And this is the article showing the highest price of silver. But like we said in the beginning, because I'm sure a lot of people aren't going to truly grasp this part, is that this is if we lived in a perfect world. If the price of silver were based directly on the real physical silver market, silver's price should be at $5,000 an ounce. I'm not saying the price of silver will reach $5,000 an ounce. I'm just saying that the actual physical silver spot price is not only extremely undervalued, but that it is an illusion compared to the real value of an ounce of physical silver, since it is totally disconnected from reality. It is totally disconnected from reality, and that is through manipulation, price suppression, the COMEX facade, and like they said, this virtual silver supply is showing or reflecting as if there is an equal amount of virtual silver as there is physical silver. But there is nowhere near that much silver in the world. Nowhere near. And if the COMEX, or when the COMEX gets exposed and silver's true price starts to expose itself, which I think will be around the year 2025, 2026, silver's natural price will start to shine. Now, here's a conclusion. Every investor holding silver in the form of financial products without the possibility of verifying the physical existence of their investment should ask the question as, what will happen when more holders of said products will ask for physical delivery? We already know what will happen because one of the large banks in the Netherlands already defaulted a little more than a year ago on its gold certificates by settling customers in cash. And yes, that is what will happen time and time again. Or it will just freeze. I mean, look at the nickel market, what happened. It will freeze or eventually collapse. And like I always say, if you can't hold it, you don't own it. You don't own it if you can't hold it. So next time you're holding that ounce of silver in your hand, just think about 250 other people that also think that that's their ounce. Think about that. 250 other people also think that eagle is theirs. But it's not. It's just a number on a screen. It's a virtual false supply, a facade from the COMEX. And once this facade gets exposed, the corrupt evil bankers, in which is, by the way, JP Morgan, which is the shadiest bank in the world, getting caught time and time again for manipulating the price of silver. A lot of them actually work for the COMEX, are some of the top guys at the COMEX. JP Morgan, that's not a conspiracy. 3 of their employees just got sent to prison, another one for RICO charges, racketeering, and they had to pay a $900 billion fine. And they've been saying that this spoofing has been going on for decades. Billions of dollars have been going in manipulating the price of silver. And where the corruption is from the COMEX is directly tied to JP Morgan. And if you've ever read anything Ted Butler's published, he goes into the COMEX the COMEX manipulation very, very, very well said. He exposes this COMEX manipulation, silver price manipulation, better than anyone I've ever seen. Andy Schectman's actually friends with him. Andy Schectman's also friends with David Morgan, which they talk about in here. Andy Schectman's friends with Keith Neumeyer, which I've covered before. I mean, and speaking of Andy Schectman, highly recommend you buy from him, which he's the CEO of Miles Franklin. He's on my channel a lot. We have a weekly show. We try to do every Wednesday, but we're both very busy people. Andy is a lot more busy than I am, of course. You know, he's probably the most famous or the most popular guy in the world of precious metals right now, which is pretty cool that, you know, I talk to him basically every day, and him and I have a good friendship, and I have him on my show every week so he can speak words of wisdom to all of us, and I can share that with you all. But I highly recommend you buy it through Miles Franklin. Send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let him know Silver Slayer sent you. Andy would love to hear that. You could build a business relationship with them, especially since Andy can get his hands on silver that nobody else can. Andy's still one of the only few authorized dealers that works with the U.S. Mint, since nobody else can buy directly from the U.S. Mint anymore, as of recently. And you know, it can be very beneficial moving forwards, as it's harder and harder to find silver, which mints have publicly came out and mentioned is true. So anyways, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. If you thought this video was 1, educational, 2, informational, 3, at least entertaining, make sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think that silver ever could hit $5,000? Do you think that $5,000 silver is silly? Or are you like me, that it's not even about $5,000 silver? It's more so just exposing how extremely undervalued silver is. It's more so exposing that the COMEX is an illusion compared to the real value of an ounce of physical silver. It's totally disconnected from reality. I think that's the whole point of this article. It's not even about if silver ever hits $5,000. It's just showing how corrupt the system is and why silver, even if it only should be $2,000, even if it only should be $500, that's not the point. The point is just showing how suppressed the price truly is. So anyways, make sure that you go enter my silver giveaway if you want a chance to win some of that shiny, beautiful stuff. I'm doing several giveaways over the next 4 or 5 months. You don't want to miss it. Entire tube of sealed eagles, talking about an ounce of gold worth $2,000+. We're talking about some massive giveaways as we are on the road to 100K. I mean, look at some of these. I just started stacking back in November. This was my first stacking channel. I mean, the amount of people that I've introduced to the world of silver is just overwhelming, and that is my whole job. I mean, that's the point of my channel. Thank you for introducing the silver stacking community to me. Stacking for 2 months now. I mean, there's so many people, and it's hard to grasp the concept of how many people listen to me or watch my videos. I think that's what a lot of content creators lose touch of, is they just see a number and they don't think about how many people that is. And it's very important to keep that in mind, especially for what you're saying, or you know, the message you're spreading, or the responsibility you have when you do have a voice and have a big platform. So I just wanted to say thank you all so much. I read some of these and it's so humbling. It's so humbling to see how many people enjoy my content, and it's a beautiful thing. It's really a beautiful thing, especially when you understand that you just saved that person. Because when you're keeping your money in your bank and all, you know, your money's burning away, and once you put your money into precious metals, you are preserving your wealth. You just saved your hard-earned dollars, putting it in a time capsule, basically. So just the fact that, you know, I can offer that to people is awesome. So I really do appreciate everyone. I cannot thank you all enough. Like I said, I really can't. And no matter how much silver I give away, even if it puts a massive dent in my stack, is nothing compared to the amount of gratitude I have for you all. And no amount of silver I give away can ever make up for that. And I hope you guys truly understand how genuine I am when I say that. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you thought this video was educational, informational, at least entertaining, make sure to hit the like button. Like the video if you like the video. Engagement really does help. Liking the video, leaving comments, sharing it, engagement really does help. And you know, I try to reach as many people. You know, it's not about me. Yeah, I try to get these videos out there so the person that's never even heard about silver, that doesn't even know the dollar's true value, those people can find. The people that keep saying they found silver because of me, I'm trying to do that continuously on a bigger and bigger scale, and I need your help to do that. So anyways, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you go subscribe, enter the giveaway, may the luckiest stackers win. Go purchase from Miles Franklin. Send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let him know Silver Slayer sent you, and he would love to hear it. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys soon. Peace.